Building by building, Gaza is being erased. Cities like broken skeletons laid waste by war. Graveyards of life and lives. The streets, homes and coffee houses of old now cast to the ground. The soul of this place, along with the souls who lived here, brought to ruin in the rubble and dust. Israel bans foreign journalists from entering Gaza. 15,000 feet above is the closest we get to seeing for ourselves the consequences of the war it is waging here. When we joined an airdrop last week, we were told Israel didn't want images from above being filmed or shown. Aid being dropped from this flight is to those who are trying to survive in this hell. This was Gaza before the bombs started falling, a place of life where normal lives were lived. There is no sign of that normality now. This is the new normality for the Mohra family and others. Both Odeh and Mohammed have acute malnutrition on top of a neurological disorder. They need specialist milk and medicine. Without it, their lives are fading away.
This child, Odeh, is 4 years old and he weighs just over 4 kilos. Mohammed is 3 and he's 5 kilograms. I call on the world to help my children get treated, or at least get them milk and nappies.
This is one of the explosions which destroyed Gaza, targeting the Turkish-Palestine Friendship Hospital, the only specialist cancer hospital in Gaza. This is what's left of it now. This was the Al Wafa Old People's Home. We can't say what's become of its residents. This was a primary and secondary school. We can't say what became of the pupils. Many of the other ruins were homes. We can't say whether those that lived here survived or are among the 60,000 now dead. Under international law, it is a war crime to target schools, hospitals and other civilian sites. Those trying to help Palestinians in Gaza survive are now struggling themselves.
When we manage to deliver aid to a specific area, we are met with the eyes of those around us, people looking at us, as if to say, when will it be our turn? Everyone is hungry, everyone is in need, everyone feels like their life depends on this.
This landscape of destruction looks otherworldly, yet it's not. It is this world, and what is happening may yet come to define one of its darkest eras, one that casts a stain on humanity, which will endure for generations.
It is difficult not to feel furious when a man-made disaster such as what is happening in Gaza causes scenes so shocking and humiliating as those filmed for us today when supplies from the aid drops hit the ground. It is an anger shared by many opponents of Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu. Pressure on him to reach a ceasefire with Hamas increased after the emaciated images of 2 Israeli hostages were published by their captors, with demonstrations by thousands of Israelis at the weekend.
Something has to be seen to be done, and airdrops look really good. Gazans waiting below even applaud this one. And then the race is on. There are gunshots. They know it's first come, first served. A free-for-all. While the supplies are dispatched with military precision, their descent is the last gentle thing about this process. Any sense of order comes crashing down the moment the pallets land in the hellhole that is Gaza. The strongest get stuck in and try to toss items to women relatives who are standing on the periphery of the melee. We don't want airdrops. We are getting virtually nothing and it's not fair. I have an old disabled man at home. Only people with knives get food here, said this woman. As the items left to be retrieved become fewer, the competition becomes more intense. They fight for food like their lives depend on it. The airdrops are highlighting the extent to which chaos now reigns in Gaza, and it means many walk away empty-handed. This is not fair. I've been waiting since 5 this morning. I want to tell the world they need to stop this war. It's humiliating. Otherwise, just kill us all with one bomb. I can't even give my children a piece of bread, said this man. This woman dropped lentils she managed to get and the bag broke. She's trying to sieve out the foodstuff. We're trying to get rid of the sand and stones so we can feed the children. Is this enough? Are you joking? They want to kill us, or they want us to kill each other, she said. Eli David is also impatient to see this war over, as he fears time is running out for his hostage brother. At the weekend, Hamas released these images of the emaciated Eviatar. At one point, he's digging his own grave. Eli can't bring himself to look at the images.
My sister watched it, my father did, my mom and I, we couldn't, because I know if I watch that video and I've heard the details, I know what's going on down there, I'll collapse. And right now, I'm his older brother. I need to take care of him. I need to fight for his life.
Back in February, Hamas featured Eviatar in another cruel propaganda video as they forced him and a fellow captive to watch several hostages being set free.
We thought that's the peak of cruelty, the peak of emotional torture. And then 2 days ago, we get that absurd, twisted video of my brother being a human skeleton, barely alive, barely able to speak, barely able to move.
As peace negotiations flounder, the whole sorry mess that is Gaza seems to be going from bad to worse. As Israeli hostages are made to starve in tunnels above ground, Gazans are forced to do this. It's a graphic and distressing illustration of how much they need and how little they're getting. John Irvine, News at 10, Tel Aviv.
And Emma and Rohit are here to make sense of all this. Emma, maybe you first. It's very unusual to get this kind of view that you've given us from the air. You and other broadcasters were told the Israelis didn't want you to film that, although they deny that tonight. So I wanted to ask you about that. But also, you know, you went to Gaza before all this started. What was going through your mind when you were looking down on it?
What I found very striking was that I did a similar flight to this with the RAF in March last year and was able to look out of the window down onto Gaza. And there was obviously an awful lot of devastation then. And it was notable how much damage had been done. And I came away thinking, you know, what desperate scenes we'd witnessed from above. When we took the flight this time, 17 months on, it was incredible, the difference. The amount of damage that has been done in those months since is phenomenal. You know, that whole area we went across was pretty much flattened. And it's not really surprising when you think that Gaza is 25 miles long and about 12 miles deep, 140 square miles, really. Onto that area has been dropped around 100,000 tonnes of explosives. That's more than was used in Dresden, Hamburg and London put together in the Second World War over a much larger area. So that is why, with such concentrated hits, the damage has been so significant. And I think that Israel knows it has questions that it will have to answer at some point about this. And as Prime Minister Netanyahu is suggesting that he is going to expand this war, it's very hard to see what else he can do to really damage the infrastructure and the land. But without question, further expansion will do great damage to the people.
Rohit, this letter from many former heads of Mossad and Shin Bet, the internal, external security agencies was really extraordinary to see. What did you make of that, and what do you think is going to happen next in Gaza?
Well, what's going to happen next depends on whether the signals we're hearing from Israel this evening are just a negotiation tactic or, in fact, a real plan. But the signal is that the Security Cabinet will this week be presented with a proposal for a full-scale occupation of the Gaza Strip by the Israeli Defense Forces. And even in the last 22 months of this fighting, we haven't seen anything like this. Three things have changed, really. One of them, and perhaps most significantly, is the fact that peace talks have stalled. All the officials who were indicating 2 weeks ago that there was progress imminent are now either pessimistic or they're not answering the phone. And secondly, the mood has changed internationally and domestically. We have allies like the UK, France, Canada talking about the recognition of a Palestinian state. But internally, we've had this phase of sort of tongue biting. You know, it happens so often in countries which are at war, where people hold back their criticism of the way the war is being operated, prioritising a sense of national unity. Now, this letter from 600 former officials, these are security and defence officials, they're not like their British equivalents. In Israeli society, they're well respected. Many of them are household names. Their criticism really means something. And so it does appear that potentially we're now entering a perilous and unpredictable phase of this conflict.